Alright, hello, I'm Jog, and welcome to the first of the two bonus videos of Pikmin 4. Last time, well, we finished up the game, so let's start looking at this Piccolopedia. Ah, I couldn't be happier. At last, the Piccolopedia of my dream is complete. This extraordinary book is sweet yet ferocious, adaptation yet adorable yet dangerous. It's the most exceptional book of its kind. Yep, he's happy because I've got all the creatures downloaded. Recorded. This is it, a record of love and nature. We wove this together through hard work and dedication. Reflecting on the little darlings we've encountered so far, it makes my heart beat triple time. So yes, I would like to look at that. I took down Louis' comments about the creatures he encountered. The kind was a little bit shocking, but it's a type of love I think you can take a look at if you like. Show me the Piccolopedia. I got 125 creatures to go through, and I think I will show off. I'm only going to show off Louis, like right here, at round button. I'm going to show off Louis. I'll show off Alamos, but I'm not going to read them because this is going to go on long enough. I'll just read what Delmo has to say. A minute reflection of a mature Bulborb. When you see these little mimics stomping around on its stumpy legs, you'll fall in love with the remarkably clever beasties. Such a skilled tiny trickster could mislead anyone. It's born to be adored. The albino dwarf Bulborb. Along all the naturally charming dwarf Bulborbs, this one might have the most attractive and well-balanced camouflage. When night falls, the eyes of these fascinating creatures emit an intense glow. Whether to mesmerize prey or to help it to spot other of its kind, its intriguing adaptation, I could stare into these shining eyes forever. Did these guys have... Okay, almost did have a bit more. I thought it was it. I didn't realize there was more to scroll through. The Bulborb. It has a wide, googly eyes on protruding stalks, a mouth meant to swallow prey in one large gulp, and powerful red and white polka dot spot hindquarters. It's fierce and yet somehow quite endearing. Beware of getting lured in by its disarming mane. The Jumbo Bulborb. Jumbo. That word sets an image in your mind. Being larger than other of its species means its heart is proportionally bigger too, so it's devoted to its family also grows. When it savagely bites, it's only doing so to protect those it cares about. The most loving critters can sometimes also be the fiercest. The Dwarf Orange Bulborb. An imposter posing as the offspring of an orange Bulborb. It resembles the orange Bulborb in every way, not just in the obvious shape, but even down to its sharp senses. Alert to each sound and movement in its vicinity. What a lovable little impersonator. Up next is the Orange Bulborb itself. If you approach it while it's sleeping, it will immediately wake up, leap to its feet, and peer around nervously. With such finely tuned senses, it's no wonder this Bulborb can get a bit sleep deprived, though its big, bloodshot eyes look surprisingly cute. The Dwarf Bull Bear. This little darling is always with its beloved mother. But when it grows up, she drives it away. Though it may seem cruel, she helps it develop the confidence to survive on its own by forcing to fend for itself. Such practical creatures could teach us a lot about learning to get by in the world. The Spotty Bull Bear. Definitely one of the more annoying creatures to deal with, that's for dang sure. One glance and you'll never forget them as long as you live. Those unmistakable bold lips, a most distinctive feature, the likes of which I've seen nowhere else in the universe. When I gaze upon them, I wonder if the lips serve double duty as a way to feel the world around it, since this cute little critter has no fingers. The Dwarf Frosty Bulborb. The ice crystals on its back are finely detailed and delightfully iridescent. The juvenile of the species, it sometimes overproduces that sparkling layer of crystal. One of the parents will then snippety crack away at the ice so it doesn't weigh the little one down. My heart melts when I see such loving family dynamics in the wild. Next is the adult version, the Frosty Bulborb. A creature that thrives in the coldest climates. Its ice-cold hunches shimmer like a living jewel in the frigid air. You can admire the way it sparkles to your heart's content, but don't get too close. You'll get frosty frozen on the spot if you touch it. The Fiery Bulblax. When I see this blazing beastie, I get a rush of excitement. It's easy to lose track of time while staring fixated at the flames and shrouded form of the Fiery Bulblax. Its appearance brings to mind ancient, molten landscapes from an era before the earliest ancestors. Yeah, surprised I didn't find any of these guys down in the final dungeon. Oh well. The Whip-Tongue Bulborb. Yeah, so the anteater ones that I always think of them as. Having that long tongue that can get Pikmin from further away. But it's still Bulborb, all in all. Its narrow snout houses an amazing, prehensile tongue. It sets its sights and slurps its target right up. The sweet little being uses this marvel of evolution with great skill. Any creature with a dexterous tongue like this is unlikely to ever get hungry. The Bulborb Larvae. Wait, I thought we thought those before with the... okay, no, I guess the albino dwarf bulborbs and the... not you. Bulborb Larvae are two different ones. A toddling infant that anyone could love, with a body and delicate skin of a newborn, this cute little button is sensitive to all stimuli. Whatever you do around it must be done slowly, gently, and quietly. As adorable as this baby is, you might be tempted to embrace it, but don't. You could squash the fragile darling. Yeah, they're very fragile, but they can eat like nobody's business. The Empress, the queen herself of the Bulblax Kingdom. Only really threatening in small spaces and if she is currently laying eggs to make more of those little babies. Otherwise, not too bad as long as you keep on your toes right, I say, as I technically died. Well, reset twice in the previous episode. The Empress. The striking polka dot alongside that expansive hide provides the very image of royal splendor. While that regal presence is essential for queenly quality, might throw you off your guard, her grand, lumpy figure has more than just visual impact. When provoked, this charmer will roly-poly over and squash any threats. Approach with the utmost caution. The Emperor himself, Emperor Bulblax. It has broad moss covering flanks and a head like a desert. Complete with big, drooping jaws and small, googly eyes, this creature appears to be quite moody, but it does have a cooperative streak. The way this temperamental bulbous giant cohabitates with others of its kind is quite surprising. Yeah, it's also part of the grub dog family. The Sovereign. I think I called it Zaw, but no, the Sovereign Bulblax. Who I guess is now canonly the boss of Pikmin 1, the final boss of Pikmin 1, because before it was just called the Emperor, But then we saw Emperors in Pikmin 2, and they were smaller, so... Yeah, I guess Sovereign is now the big dog of the grub dog family. The value a living creature has within its ecosystem has no relationship at all to how big or small it is. That being said, this massive mountain of a critter is truly majestic. Not only does it have the courage and means to lay waste to any opponent, it also has a roar that can make the boldest traveler start to tremble in their spacesuit. The fiery blowhog, straight from Pikmin 1. You recognize it by its plump, bottle-shaped torso and round, bright red mouth. Have you ever seen such an adorable creature? But no matter how cute it seems, when observing the species, you best remain behind it. Otherwise, you could end up in this path when it spouts a gout of flame and get cooked right up. Yeah, that would not be good. Cooked right in your spacesuit. Oof. Okay, out of the fire and into the kitchen sink with the watery blowhog. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Though it looks a lot like a flame-spewing counterpart, remember that blue around his mouth is for water and red is for fire. Keep that in mind, and you can avoid being unpleasantly surprised. A watery blowhog showers to wash away all the dirt and rows at the end of the day. Doesn't sound so bad. Okay, out of the sink and into the freezer. What's that? You think the different types of blowhog all look the same? You need to look a bit closer. For example, this little fella has a light yellow eyes and an aquamarine body, with turquoise lips and blue nails. Nails? It all comes together to create a unique appearance designed to give anybody the chills. Boo! Up next is the Big Daddy himself, the Titan Blowhog. Only saw these guys a few times. I know there was one in Olmo's backstory, but yeah. Massive gouts of flame blow out from this gigantic body with astonishing force, enough to make you think of a volcanic eruption. This critter exhibits the power of nature's fury. One can be truly overwhelmed by the sight of the Titan Blowhog raging torrents of fire. The Blizzard Blowhog! This creature blows out an unending gale of freezing, blizzard-like winds. Talk about lung capacity. With this hulking, dulling around, we could cool down those hot summer days in an instant. Although it does exhale carbonic acid. Maybe that's not such a good idea after all. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably not at all. Okay, something that's part of the same family, but looks completely different. The Tusk Blowhog. Surprised to consider part of the same family, considering this guy doesn't exhale anything. Setting its unwavering sights on its target, it makes a ferocious mad dash at full speed. Even if you hit it really hard, you won't slow down this bold beastie. It single-mindedly carries through its actions with an unwavering focus. That inspires me to improve my focus on my own tasks. The Armored Cannon Beetle Larvae. This little creature will spew a giant stone ball, what some call an adoma, when it feels threatened. A reliable cultural document assured me similar items were used as weapons in ancient wars. Maybe this creature is using it in the same way to fight off a war for its survival. Nope. Not what I meant to do. Keep hitting all the wrong buttons. Okay, we're done with the baby and moving on to the adult with the Horned Cannon Beetle. Not just the Cannon Beetle, the Horned Cannon Beetle. Again, might be why it has so much more health than the one from Pikmin 1. And considering there was only one in Pikmin 1, maybe our actions there caused the species to go extinct? Or maybe they just evolved to be better. Its giant, shiny black carapace is one of the precious stones of the natural world. When it lifts its ebony wings, the brief, visible flesh beneath creates a striking color contrast. This is a living work of art that transcends the imagination. Okay, straight up to the Arctic with the Arctican larvae. Whether or not there's snow on the ground, when a surprising sweetie comes around, you can have a snowball fight anytime. But don't expect it to go easy on you. You're in for a one-sided defensive battle, and you might end up looking like a snowman by the end. And just like before, we had the baby, and now we have the adult. Who might honestly be easier than the armored cannon beetle. A beautiful armored bug that sparkles like a diamond. The sight of its busily trampling along, the way it sucks in air and spews out snowballs. Everything about it is remarkable. While standing transfixed by its stunning appearance, you'll end up covered in snow for sure. Female sheargrubs! The little one's primary food source is secretions from arbolites, like Pikmin. To fill the bellies of so many sheargrubs, there must be a healthy population of Pikmin-like creatures in this world. It's through sheargrubs like this that we get a glimpse of the hidden secrets of this planet. So they eat Pikmin droppings, and the males eat Pikmin. Oop. Alright. A little sad considering the females can't really do anything to defend themselves, so... yeah, compared to their male counterparts, which are... okay, they were a lot worse in Pikmin 1 than they were in the other Pikmin games. With its powerful jaws, the male sheargrub can secure more food than the females, but it doesn't keep it all for itself. Right now, in the ground under our feet, mated sheargrubs pair with sharing food with each other. What a generous, snuggly grub. Oh, okay, so they do share with males. Mama sheargrub. Since it's extraordinarily large, when it squirms to move or wiggle minutely side to side to dig its whole body into the ground like a drill, you can observe it in exceptional detail. The way it moves is quite enchanting to watch. If only we could super duper size all the creatures like this. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. There's already some creatures that are pretty big enough as it is. And I just thought about this now. I'm surprised we never saw the evolutionary form, or I guess the adult form, or the secondary form of the burrowing snagret that we found in Pikmin 2. I just thought about that. That would have made a lot more sense to have been found in the final dungeon. Ooh, shearwigs. I believe we only ever see males, kind of like the sheargrubs. I believe the females actually do stay underground the entire time. So... yeah, we never see what they turn into. What if they evolve form of a sheargrub or shearwig? It may be small, but it's full of vim and vigor. It hovers in midair, then zips straight to its target. And once it has prey in its jaws, it locks on tight and won't let go. The shearwig's a cunning and fierce survivor. Has a death grip on my heart and soul. Yeah, in Pikmin 1, if they ever got their mouths on a Pikmin, that Pikmin was dead. Even if you killed the thing, it was automatically dead. That was the annoying thing about them. Cheerfully! If you find any of these busy little bouncers happily hopping about, try drumming in with them. If you do, they may just come to you for cuddles. They're such sweet little love bugs. Yeah, no. Their cuddles usually will involve you losing your blood. They are parasites. Destroy them all. Destroy them all! Destroy them all! The Joust Mite. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know this creature's name. Oh, Baronet. I think that was the only thing I remember from it. The Baronet family. The eyeball-like pattern on its shell reminded me of my father's eyes staring at me after we buried him in the sand at the beach. We dug him out immediately when he gave us that look. Maybe it's easier to imagine than an effective deterrent those staring eyes must have than natural predators like birds. The Flying Joust Mite. Was it counter counterparents like that helmet-wearing soldier, it zips up to set its sights into the sky, then strikes its target. This captive critter is truly a pro. It's unfortunate that when it flies up in the air, you can't see the clever false eyes on its shell or its charming face anymore. Yeah, no. Not when it tries to stab you with its odd mouth thing. Swooping Stitchbugs! Completely harmless unless you throw a Pikmin off a ledge into the endless void. And one way they could actually be a little bit helpful because they put Pikmin back in the ground, meaning that a leaf Pikmin could, in turn, if they stay down there, could be turned into a bud or a flower. If you were swept up and then tossed away by these long, darling arms, I think you better understand what it feels like to be a Pikmin. A little courage is all you need to give it a try. Consider it a learning experience. Yeah, no, there was a bigger version of these guys in 2 that would actually kidnap the captains. They have not been seen since 2. Skittle Leaves! Critters that would not hold on. In both its vibrant spring color and precise shape, this cunning crawler looks like a leaf. It's perfect camouflage, if only because it only becomes an issue when this sometimes careless critter forgets to look for its hiding place with an abundance of other green leaves. Then it becomes quite easy to spot. Yeah, these critters were originally not threatening back in Pikmin 1. Or Pikmin 2, I mean. Then in Pikmin 3, they had the ability to start eating Pikmin. So these went from completely harmless, possibly Pikmin-like creatures, to, well, now predators to Pikmin. The desiccated skittle leaf, I think that's how you say that. Essentially a fall form of it. With another way of making camouflage. There's fun in the Masters of the Sky, provided the season is right. The fun little game. Try collecting a bunch of dry leaves and then shuffle Mr. Desolate Skittle Leaf in with them. If you pick out a normal leaf, you lose, but if you pick up the critter, you win big! Feeling lucky? No. Fiery Dreevils! Well, Dreevils in general. That perfectly polished crimson color, like something hand-finished by a true master craftsman. It's a feast for the eyes. This brilliant color is actually made through layers upon layers of very fine fibers, being stacked together. Nature is the most skilled crafter. So yeah, they will essentially just pick up any item they find on the floor, be it treasure, or a person, or a body, and will carry it with them. They can be a little bit annoying for that, but if it doesn't have anything you need, you can just leave them alone. The Anode Dreevel is essentially the electric version. The first one was fire, the one's electricity. And I forgot to go through all of most stuff. We don't wake up every day feeling as good as we want to, but that bright fruity color of this little charmer sure makes me feel like I got my vitamins for the day. You might be able to loosen up your stiff muscles with this Dreevel's therapeutic electrical shocks too. Hydro Dreevel! It's bewitching to behold the way it skitters all around those long, slender lapis lazuli blue legs. While carrying treasure on its back, if in an excess of excitement, you reach out a hand to touch it. A startling splash should deter you. Be calm and quiet around this beastie. Yeah, I feel like these guys definitely had to evolve probably around the same time as Pikmin did. Which would make sense as to why there's so many different variety, from electric to fire to water. And now ice with ice-blown Dreevils. Which, considering their extremely small size, I don't think these guys should be frozen. Like, I'm willing to let some things slide, but the icy one seems unrealistic. Achoo! Sorry to keep you cool. But my proximity to this rusty dog may be making me a bit too cold. Just one blow for this critter, and it skitters about its icy lug legs. It's quite chilling indeed. We are Venom Dreevel. It is just another different color of Dreevel. Not at all. You see here, they fashioned later the critter world. There was once a purple one as well, but this year's trendy color is green. Be sure to bring protective gear to see it through. The skittering sweetie can produce a toxic gas if threatened. Good thing we have our spacesuits, otherwise we might have to deal with poison. That was actually one of the nice things about how I think they did things in Pikmin 2 and 3. We're in a spacesuit, so water doesn't affect us, poison doesn't affect us, but things like fire and electricity would until we actually found a way to actually fix that. Sorry, I forgot about you. Forgot about you getting the talk. Also, these guys are strong, considering that one driver alone picked up a train. They're arachnode, aka spiders, and I hate spiders. Ugh. Actually, I'm surprised there wasn't a giant spider boss in this game. Oh, and Pikmin in general. I guess the closer we get to that is the giant... Oh my god, what are you called? I'll know when I see it. Anyways. It has an agreeable personality, and as long as a meal doesn't get caught in its web, it just sits there, curled up in a cuddly ball and waiting. You'll have to throw some food, or even use yourself as bait if you wish to see it moving. What a leisurely method of hunting. The long legs. Here we got baldy long legs. If you lie down and look up while this hulking critter is walking over, you'll be treated to an impressive view of its giant round body soaring past like an orbiting planet. Of course, you may get squished flat by one of its massive feet, and become a star yourself. Yeah, it's probably to call it baldy long legs, considering the fact that it should only be a baldy long legs if you remove the hair from a hairy long legs. The man-at legs. Did I forget skip Louie again? Oh, whatever. The man-at legs, always hiding ground until actually startled. With his extra strong gun, that thing can be threatening. It was kind of annoying in 2. There was one of them in particular. You could only use blue Pikmin to get it. It was too high, so you had to wait for it to come down a little bit. So using... considering its gun and everything, and we didn't have Steve, waiting for it to stop firing its gun, and then using our spicy sprays was the best option. Having a body made up of living cells, a metabolism, and the ability to produce offspring might be considered necessary traits to determine if something is truly alive, but this rapid-fire cannon blows away the conventional definitions. It is a machine and a creature. What a fascinating possibility. The groovy long legs. Yeah, I'm surprised we only found this guy once. I don't know how he's spinning like that, considering he should be up on the ceiling. With mesmerizing lights that pierce through the darkness and a low groove that stirs your soul, how can you not get your dance on? Is this a creature or machine? Well, who cares? Everyone can join the party. A word of caution, though. Be careful you don't dance right under its feet. Yeah, an interesting long leg creature, to say for sure. The fact that it essentially can hit the Pikmin with a... I don't know where the phrase is as. That won't get taken down. A special odor that makes people feel the urge to dance. And I'm surprised we didn't get the normal one. Oh well. The anode beetle. Yes, these little love bugs as they are. It's the ability to produce electricity that will... Okay, they were kind of annoying in Pikmin 2, because in Pikmin 2, electricity was a guaranteed instant kill, compared to them changing that in Pikmin 3. Do I say the better, and to many people say the worse. Some people liked the idea, the challenge, that lightning was so threatening that you had to take care of it, but on the other hand, it kind of also made it feel like a cheap death compared to fire and water and poison. With its little darling, round, outer space power problems would be solved. These generate enough energy to light up the night and help people live comfortably on most rigidly hot or frigid cold planets. It'll cost to feed them, but that's a minor detail. Iridescent Flint Beetle. This scuttling little one is a good luck talisman you'll be happy to encounter if you're fortunate enough to ever come across one. Make a wish before it leaves. The way its iridescent carapace changes color depending on the angle you view it from is so distracting that I often forget to wish for something. Does it? This looks green to me. But I don't know, maybe I'm just missing something. Now, if the cameraman could get away from the cliff, that would be fantastic. But I'm assuming the Flint Beetle went back underground. The Doodle Bug, essentially a flint beetle, but it is gassy. or 40, or poisonous, however you want to phrase it. But considering we can just whistle to fix that, not a problem. Whoa! What reeks? It reeks so bad! Oh, these uncouth little stinkers are always passing gas. Whenever and wherever. Oh, but also means they're easy to track down. Of course, nobody can stand to get close if you find one. It's a brilliant defense mechanism, that's for sure. Iridescent glint beetle. The golden shine on its gleaming carapace really is gold. It's in the little darling's nature to collect gold from the soil. As you might expect, it's extremely rare to see one in person. I've never heard it, so I'd hope to have one appear before me someday. So I take it this is essentially the shiny glint beetle. The shiny of glint beetles, I guess the way I'd want to phrase that. If we were going by Pokemon nature, that is. Oh, the Mite-ites. Yes, these little guys. Not threatening, but they cause Pikmin to go into an absolute panic. So, if you ever see them, you want to throw a Popple just to get rid of them easily. These cheeky Mite-mite lay an eggs inside the eggs of other creatures to provide its offspring with an easy first meal. Oh my god, that's... oh... They're parasites. When they come wiggling and squealing out, it's spine-chilling, but you can't blame the newly hatched larvae. After all, you might enjoy an egg or two yourself now and then. So these are just babies. What does the adult look like? Scutterchuck. Watching it move around on the very tips of its tippy toes, it's like watching a ballet. If you offer to be a dance partner for the little spiky-toed sweetie, it'll leap high into the sky. I bet this agile creature will have no trouble sticking the landing. Yeah, until it throws a bomb or a crystal rock at ya. Not fun, but rock Pikmin usually take care of them. The Heevil family. Oh, Skitterskates. Yes, these little guys. I believe they were found in 3. Essentially, have the ability to float on top of the water, but also use water as a projectile. Interesting, using the idea of being able to float across the surface, like some bugs do, but also use water as a weapon, kind of like some fish do. Clean water is a necessity for this water-walking sweetheart, and a lot of it at that. And water soils with oils, detergents, or other pollutants, it can lose the surface tension that supports its specifically evolved feet and drown. Ooh. This is extraordinary creature that could only exist on such a water-rich planet. The Mulcher Skate. This curious critter moves in fits and starts. When it does, the muddy liquid in its translucent orb splooshes around. Splish, splish, sploosh. If I could observe this unique anatomy up close, I'd have no regrets, even if I get splashed with mud. So yeah, mud, I would feel like would make more sense. It should have more surface tension, right? Because of all the rock and soil. Or dirt that would be in it. I don't know. The right spectolids, aka the butterflies. I'm pretty sure these guys only ever drop you nectar. If there is other varieties, that's the fact that this one is just called the right spectolids. In the same way it stops on a pedestal when floating around in a garden full of flowers in bloom, it will light without hesitation on things like sleeping bulbs. What an audience, little daredevil. What an audacious little daredevil. Or maybe it's the yellow ones that only drop you nectar. Maybe white ones can drop you whatever. After flittering around all over the place, the white beats of the little spectolids can cause a tornado on the other side of the world. So some have said. What I wonder is how much influence do these traumas have on our being on this planet right now? Yeah, that's... I want to say the myth about the idea that a butterfly flapping is going to cause a tornado on the other side of the world. Not so sure how that one works out. The red spectolids, these guys I'm pretty sure always drop you some spicy spray, so not a bad creature to kill if you ever get the chance to see them. Spectolid rings have a lot of fine powder on them. By building up in many different layers, it gives them a sparkle with complexity and depth. This little fellow's powder also has some ultra spicy essence in it for a zestier effect. The Snowflake Flittertail looks like we're going to bosses now. Please don't call it a flying snowman. The sight of it flying around with its magnificent wings, scattering ice like diamond, invoke thoughts of snow sprites. Witness this beauty of nature, and let it soothe all the way to your woes and anxieties. Yeah, considering it is essentially in a cocoon of ice and snow. I don't remember this creature being annoying, though. Or difficult, I guess. I guess it could have been a little bit annoying, because you had to keep throwing the fire balls at it to get rid of its carapace, but honestly, I remember this thing going down pretty easily. Creeping chrysanthemums. Yes, you guys can just be annoying. Although if you look, you can see that it actually has an eye on the stalk that opens up every so often. It does do a good job of hiding, so, I mean, yeah. Doesn't mean I have to like it, though. It does seem to be kind of Pikmin-esque, the fact that it seems to be both plant and animal, just like Pikmin are. Let's have a Creeping Chrysanthemum show. Why don't we? We'll gather hand-raised Creeping Chrysanthemums and have a contest based on their size, flower color, things like that. They're half animal, so maybe behavior category too. Of course, how could the judges ever choose a winner? Each specimen is so beautiful on its very own. Stale spore, so essentially creepy, yeah. These don't just mimic the growth of mushrooms for the fun of catching you off by surprise, they also use the opportunity to spread poison around quite indiscriminately. But that's just how this little darling's idiosyncratic method for catching its prey. We could learn from the way nature embraces such unique and various creatures. Makes me think of fungus from Pokemon. The idea of a creature that essentially just uses mimicry to fool people. Like how Fungus and Bulbasaur from the games can look like Pokeballs that would throw people off. Although apparently Pokeballs are based around them, so... yeah, either way, you're just a creeping chrysanthemum with a mushroom instead of a flower. Bread bugs! Yes, these little guys always like to steal my treasures away from me before I can get them. I mean, I don't... oh yeah, they're also still pellets, but you can also use that against them. It looks like your breakfast table's long-time sample of loaf of bread with perfect color and buttery shine. Just look at it. Just from looking at it, I swear the aroma of baking wafts past my nose. But you'll never seen your bread loafing about like this. If you observe them for a while, you might catch them dragging things around with their mouth. It's hot, meltingly adorable. I just kind of realized that's kind of like Steve and Moss. So I wonder if they're related. The giant bread bug, who I feel like should have been called the loaf bug, if anything, considering his giant size. And the fact that it looks like a big loaf of bread. Perfectly cooked, golden brown, and fluffy. It must be a fresh baked loaf of bread. Oh, my mistake. This is a wildly unique giant bread bug, with the texture and vibrancy only a living creature can possess. Don't let your eyes and gut deceive you. This lumbering muffin might just take offense if you mistake it for a loaf of fresh bread. Yeah, they also attack in this game, unlike in the previous games, where they did nothing but really just drag stuff around. The Guild Moanbull? I have no idea how you say that. Was one little gold-colored stone on its back. It tunnels about, lantern flickering cheerfully. It doesn't intentionally deceive Pikmin, or our sensors. They just respond to that gold-colored shine, gold-colored stone. Only adults tend to be intentionally deceptive in this world, or any other. So how valuable is that rock on its back? Is it natural gold? Because we never actually bring it back to the ship with us. All we have to do is break it up and then sometimes get material for that. So, yeah, is that just hardened material? Hardened clay? The Guildmander. Guildmander! instead of Charmander. Essentially the giant version of that, with all those different little gold spots, but also I can understand why it has them, to essentially guard its weak spots and its back. All those, like, red, splotchy spots, like... Oh, I guess center spot's probably more like it. I'm surprised that the gold itself doesn't hurt it when he plops it on his back. Notice the gold sparkles on his back. In order to survive, the light of a creature spends a mind-boggling amount of time collecting these special gold stones. Though it isn't real gold, it can confuse the sensors that's another marvel of the natural world for you. Also, it's false gold. Oh, the miniature snoot whacker. The way it catches its food, protects its belly, and gets up while walking with the weight of its sizable trunk are all taught by its diligent parents. Instead of hand and foot, they attend to their offspring nose and foot. They'll prepare the child for the day it will leave the nest and eventually become a parent itself. Yeah, a little bit annoying. I mean, in terms of evolution, yes, it makes sense for a creature to have a hard outer body like that, but when you're fighting it, it's a little annoying. And speaking of annoying, the mammoth snoot whacker, having to be charged at twice just to be not even taken down, but just to, like, start damaging it, is honestly what makes him kind of annoying. I'm glad we only had to fight him so many times. If you get close, it will whip its trunk around and around, then smash it onto the ground. It might be a chance for an exciting jump rope workout. If you try throwing a bomb at it, it will use its trunk to shoot it right back at you. Though there's some no skills that could impress any athlete. I did not know that. Never tried using a bomb. Oh, the Sun Squish. This peculiar little button has a perfect texture and coloration to pass as an egg fried sunny side up by a master chef. There is nothing about it that would make it seem threatening, and it looks so yummy. I can't help but think of a delicious breakfast when I see it. Yeah, I have unfortunately lost a few Pikmin to this guy. But it does its job of being a mimic pretty well. The fact that it actually does look like an egg. Seasoned with salt and pepper. Oh, the Fulix. Yes, essentially the giant version of that. I'm kind of upset they don't have the enemies just all out and about. Or kind of like what they do in Pikmin 2, where you can just throw Pikmin carrots at it, to at least, like, bring it out of its form. Because I think this actually is... I don't think 1-to-1, but this is definitely similar to an optional boss that was found in Pikmin 1. If you take the microorganisms I used to peer at through my microscope as a child, and blow them up as much bigger, this is what you get. A huge single-celled treaty. It voluptuously splooshes around in search of food. To this giant, we are microorganisms. The downy snagrets. The sight of these wee ones bobbing around and pecking at all the food, all while skillfully balancing on one leg, is truly awe-inspiring. If you get too close, it might feel vulnerable and give you a warning peck on its beak. Or it might just turn to you for comfort. Yeah, probably not likely. Although it's nice actually seeing the baby versions of the snagrets, who seem like combinations of, like, snakes and birds, but I guess they're not snakes? Maybe lizards? I don't know. It seems like they have scales, but they also have feathers, so I have no idea what these creatures technically are supposed to be. They say Snavian, which again sounds like snake and avian to me. Oh, keep forgetting to go to Louis. But yes. We saw the babies, now for the adult. Or an adult. I guess the other Snagret from Pikmin 2 could be a side evolution. Or maybe more like a mutation. Instead of the sky, this scaly anomaly flies through the ground. When it pops its head up to the surface, the way its crown of feathers fluff, though intended to make it more intimidating, is delightful to behold. But be wary of lingering to gaze up at it, as you'll likely get the poking of a lifetime from that long, sharp beak. New one, the Waddle Quack. It possesses a bottomless stomach and will swallow down anything and everything unfortunate enough to end up in its path. It will even consume things larger than its own body without missing a step. The best part is its goofy little head that looks like a fudge-covered gourd. I would think more, maybe something along the lines of like a trumpet or something of that nature. More than a gourd. Sorry, didn't mean to get to Louis. Controller can be a little sensitive at times. Ah, the scorch cake. I forgot about these guys. We only saw them a few times. And again, kind of like some of the other creatures, not all that threatening. As long as you just know to call back your Pikmin pretty easily. In a way, it looks kind of like a tasty treat, but it's actually this burning bivalve related to a fierce hunter. Squashing its prey with a fiery flourish, the beauty of its popping, crackling flames, and the dynamic cartwheels it can perform in battle is a spectacle to behold. The shock cake. Living creatures can sense your intent and emotions, so if you face them with love in your heart, they'll know it. When you love and are loved back, even the occasional electric shock isn't so bad. That's right. Instead of play biting, the Shrieky goes play shocking. It can zap away, shoulder stiffness, and fatigue in a flash. I don't understand how these creatures technically work. Like, other creatures I can make some sense out of, like they eat and whatnot, but this one, I don't know, like, other than, unless it gets nutrients from the ground, I don't see how this creature would be surviving on this planet. Same with the freeze cake. Same thing, just instead of fire and electricity, it's ice. The way its blue-white shell is woven through the cracks makes it look like a porcelain coaster. What's more, it's cold enough to keep your drink chilled. Of course, this remarkable critter is very much alive and would flip-flop your drink right over. The Puffstool! I haven't seen you since Pikmin 1. Come, lend us ponder the Puffstool. This devious little beam releases spores that have a hallucinogenic effect on Pikmin. At first inhale, affection sprouts, and they are drawn in closer. They can breathe in and move more and more of the confusion inhaled, inducing spores. Soon they'll think of nothing but the Puffstool as they jump around. Boing, boing, boing. Yes, essentially, they were poisonous, I believe, in Pikmin 1, even though poison was not an actual thing until Pikmin 2. They would essentially convert Pikmin to being, like, mushroom Pikmin if they got affected by the spores, so you had to be careful about that one. I believe you could have saved them, but you had to be careful. If you didn't whistle them back fast enough, they would just die as mushrooms. And the Toadstool. Essentially a more toxic, toadstool, but the fact that it also seems to bring out, new poisonous critters somehow, I don't get how that one works, was honestly what made it annoying for the final dungeon. Not the creature itself, even though it took a bit longer to get rid of than I would have liked. Seeing how it tunnels and bounces on its wee little footsies as it goes for a stroll, scattering extremely toxic spores along the way, this critter is a walking nuisance, but there's an odd kind of charm in that bothersome nature that makes it hard to leave it alone. The Moldy Dwarf Bulborb. Picture the scenario. Like this poor little darling, you're conscious, but no longer in control of your own body. Someone or something has taken over. A horrifying concept, isn't it? But what if the thing controlling you couldn't live if it didn't do that? Sometimes it's simply a matter of survival. I get that, but it's a parasite. If it literally cannot survive without another host, it's just a parasite. And should be, like, gotten rid of. The same thing for this moldy sploosh. How did that even survive on this? These guys were fiery before. Like, the toxins would have to actually bypass the fire, get on the creature, and then spread. Sluga, sluga, choo-choo! Here comes the fungal spore train. The miasma emitting from the fungus on its back has toadstool spores in it. If you must absorb it, do so from far away as possible, or risk ending up as a fungal choo-choo too. Yeah, the pyroclasmatic sploosh. The mucus of the pyroclasmatic sploosh acts as a natural fire starter, but it also seems to serve as an insulation from the heat. Gazing into the flickering flames at night would be a great way to relax. If the ripple pattern along the top of from top to bottom is... Oh. And the rippling pattern going from top to bottom is so mesmerizing. Yeah, honestly, these guys, as long as you have some red Pikmin on you, were never a threat. Yes, you can only use red. Well, I guess glow Pikmin for this game, but yeah, otherwise they were not at all an issue. The bearded Ampharad, yes. Found in Pikmin 3. It looked like dogs, but when they, like, fluff their fur up with their electricity, kind of makes me think of a monkey a little bit. This little cutie has a long beard that makes it look a bit, but if you were trying to brush it, do so with caution. This dear one will, well, see for yourself. Move in close and get a good look. A truly shocking experience awaits you. Mamuda! Yes, this gentle creature removed from the fierce competition of the strong eating the weak. It sits gawning in a pool of sunlight, looking content as it gazes out into the big round eyes that a plant as it has raised just starts to sprout. Don't tease this mild-mannered beastie by messing with its delicate sprouts. With the delicate sprouts it's tending. Yes, it essentially takes any Pikmin and will essentially turn them into flowered Pikmin. So if they're a flower or a bud, get squished, and then boom, now flowered. Doesn't kill them. And I believe Olimar was saying out here that... no, maybe not. The Mamuda, I believe, is an offspring of... it's actually a smoky frog if the egg is not destroyed or tampered with early on. Porculin. Oh, shoot. Yes, this little guy, this new little guy who was actually found at the very beginning of our adventure of this game, who actually fought with Olimar back in the beginning of this game. I think it only showed up like a handful of times, so not too bad, but like a bit of a waste to have a brand new creature and really used. When it cowers down to roll up, it looks like it's feeling lonely. If you're close, the needles all over its body become projectiles that will be launched at you. I can't help thinking that this is just a plea for attention. It's okay, Prickly Bean. I'll be your friend. Honey wisps, these poor little creatures. This cutie swims through the air with a heavy-looking nectar egg dangling below its translucent body, on its way back to its nest where its offspring await lunch. Nectar is a vital source of nutrients that most life on this planet depends on. Whether it's in the form of an egg yolk, sap, or honey, I leave that up to your imagination. Yeah, these poor little guys, they can literally not do any harm. But whenever you see them, you're like, okay, this is a good way of just getting nectar to get my Pikmin all being flowered. Or possibly get something else as well. The puffy blowhog. A little bit annoying. You need to get enough Pikmin on them to weigh them down to bring them back down to the ground to easily deal with them. Because if you're not careful, it will essentially just blow all your Pikmin away. He's been around since Pikmin 1, and I'm pretty sure his little buddy is going to be found next. See those prominent spines coming from this back? I would imagine that if you looped ropes through them and hung a gondola on the ropes, you could create a living airship. How amazing would it be to travel the skies with one of these spiky sweetlings? We float along together wherever the wind chose to take us. Oh, not what I thought we were going to. Next, the icy blowhog. This frosty flyer may exhale frigid breath, but you can touch it without having to worry about freezing. Its face remains quite cool, but it expels warm air from the little holes on its side. If you're feeling chilled, you could settle up next to this little one. I guess that would make a little bit of sense. If it has to generate cold, if it blows out cold, it would have to suck in or exhale out heat, because of the idea of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. So the heat of the air that it sucks in would have to be chilled, and then that heat from the air would have to be expelled someplace. Here we go, the Withering Blowhog, who came from Pikmin 2. A little bit annoying, he won't blow your Pikmin away, but he won't essentially get rid of any flowers, turning your Pikmin back into leaves. So, yeah, that's... they're not threatening, they're just annoying. You can have a bit of fun with this one by giving him a good poke and watching it wobble and sway through the air like a balloon. Poke it too much so, and it may spew gas and fly off. It's a mischievous little darling, and the way it scatters flowers and crackles is quite charming. Or cackles. The lesser spotted jelly float, again from Pikmin 2. Notice the elegant way it floats and its delicate transparency. The mystical sky blue color always catches my gaze and won't let go. Even when it's drifting, drawing spikes up Pikmin, sucks up Pikmin, it doesn't eat them, but generally envelops them. What a sweetheart. Yeah, no, it will eat Pikmin. It is incredibly slow, but it can eat Pikmin. Unless that got changed, that's how it worked in Pikmin 2. And it's essentially the same thing for the greater spotted jelly float. It will eat Pikmin. I believe the difference is that the greater spotted jelly float can eat more Pikmin at one time, but it still eats them at the same slow rate. This lovely floating critter sucks up food by stretching and contracting its body. It's hard to imagine such a graceful creature could be of this world. It would be rather exciting to get sucked in with all the treasure and Pikmin to float on forever, but if that really happened, I wouldn't be of this world for long either. Rockpole, yes. While watching it swim to and fro, fatigue and time just melt away. I'm able to relax this much, even on an unknown planet at the end of the universe, because observing this aquatic beastie takes me back to the waterfront of my hometown when I was a child. Yes, these guys, maybe not all that threatening, considering they can't do anything, just being tadpole babies. But they don't stay tadpoles forever. They grow up and become Wallywogs, or in this case, the yellow Wally Hop. I don't know if the name got changed throughout the games. I honestly don't remember. I just remember them being yellow Wallywogs, not Wally Hops. Don't think of it as unexciting. This critter simplicity is quite refreshing. Should you raise one from a rockpole, you would certainly learn to adore it. The adulted species can be a bit standoffish. Okay, no, they must have changed it, because they used to be Wallywogs, now they're Wally Hops. With a distinctive pallor, almost like it was painted with white face paint. I feel like that should be white paint. It gives off an air of performing mime. This cutie can jump with great refinement, never moving its plump jowls at all. It's graceful and expressive in the most unexpected ways. Yeah, no, these guys were very annoying in Pikmin 1, and I think also in 2. And I don't know if there was a kill limit to how much these guys could actually kill in one of their jumps. They were something you had to keep in mind, alongside the fact that there was not really a good way to really deal with these guys. If you try throwing them was honestly the easiest way to kill them, but you had to deal with killing it slowly. Compared to swarming, which could kill it fast, but you could also regret it and lose Pikmin. Chilled Hops, essentially just Wallywogs with ice. Like, no offense. The idea of just taking the same creature and just changing the color and giving it a new element, I don't know. I feel like it would possibly overuse a little bit. Slick and bulbous with a refreshingly frank face, this is one classy hopper. When it lands after jumping, it spills out cold air around it, mischievous and cool. This little fella needs to leave some personality for the rest of us. The Master Hop. Wiggly, elastic skin is the proper fit for this bouncing beauty. Slippery smooth and shiny sleek. Its skin is soft as baby cheeks. Though you might want to be wary of getting close enough to touch it. Just watch it move will make you yearn for skin that is more radiantly lustrous too. These guys are never a threat. I'm sorry, but you are pathetic. I don't think I've ever seen... I don't even think I got these guys to hop off the ground. They were so pathetic, considering I always got them to freeze so easily. Water Dumples! Also from Pikmin 1. Another callback. These guys... Only threatening because they usually come in groups of, like, 3. But if you can get them to be alone, not all that dangerous. This odd critter lost his vision, but it enveloped a very sharp sense of smell to compensate. Even if you sneak up behind it very quietly, it will still detect you. But with a mouth that opens up big and wide, approaching from the front isn't advisable either. The flickering Blownet These form a group and then swim gracefully along together, as though joining in an underwater dance. Are they a family or traveling as a school? It might be enlightening to watch them with a submersible camera. Very quiet, so that they don't notice. Again, another creature that's not all that threatening. They can only eat one Pikmin at a time, and it takes some time. The only thing is that you have to use blue Pikmin to get them, because they obviously live in the water, so they're not going to be a danger to any other Pikmin. Yeah, maybe if they get, like, a new form, an adult form, they might be something, but no. Well, that could be this, Prickle Puff. But I don't know, it seems a little bit too different to me, but I guess, considering how different organisms can be from babies to adults, it wouldn't be surprising. No, because they're different families. To watch it swim dreamily along, then spot it again, walking plip-plop in tidal flats. The contrast is so great, I can only admire its adaptability, but don't be drawn in by its cute round little peepers. Much like a rose, the Prickle Puff has very sharp thorns. The Waddlepuss. This accomplished napper can snore away a whole day, but just watching the peaceful look of this noodling's face conveys a feeling of contentment. Also, if you get up close enough, it can blow bubbles that will envelop you. Have a fun float! It's like dreaming. Yes, found first off in Pikmin 3. Again, not dangerous unless the bubbles can send Pikmin off a bottomless pit. The Aristocrab offspring. Was it really called the Aristocrab? I don't remember that. I do remember them having, like, glass pincers that you could break in Pikmin 3. It pokes its little eyes just a bit out of the sand and stays very still, waiting patiently for us to come by. And if we know that they are hiding there, it's best to act surprised and give them a good shout of alarm. That's the best way to help them feel successful in their endeavors. No. The Pickish Aristocrab. Click, click, click goes the crab pincer as it tries to impress the other crabs. The crabs with the biggest claws will be the most popular. Being popular means not having to work as hard to claw their way to the top of the crustacean hierarchy. The natural world is a lot like our own world in that way. Yeah, I like the claws better in this one than how they looked in 3. It looks a lot more natural compared to that definite, like, crystal design from 3. Although, honestly, that claw's the only dangerous thing about them. I think otherwise they just blow bubbles. So again, not all that dangerous. Ooh, the Grub Chucker, yes. Having to deal with you was a little surprising. You're a little bit annoying in the fact that I'm probably better off not having Pikmin on me when I crash into the back of your legs to have you collapse, because if I have him rush, Pikmin fall on top of him, then he falls down, and then they fall off, and then they have to get back on. The mouth on top of its head is somehow cheek and osterentus? Combined with the way it carries its claws like it's ready to give you a trim, this cutie looks like the charismatic beautification of the creature of the creature world. Though the way it tosses the food into the air shows rather poor etiquette. Yeah, it's interesting to say the very least. Like a long-legged hermit crab. Long-legged, long-armed hermit crab, that is. But honestly, those long legs and the fact that we can just dash into them kind of makes it more of a detriment than anything else. Ah, the Hermit Crawdads. Yes, you guys. Again, can be a little bit dangerous, but as long as you get your Pikmin out of the way, they're not all that bad. And even if they get got, as long as you can defeat them before they get back to their nest, they're fine. Here we have one of the cleverest of creatures. It has many different nest holes that are all connected below ground. Using this network, it can move from hole to sneak up on prey or evade predators. A smart little darling indeed. The Bug-Eyed Crawmad. Its peepers aren't just big, they're capable of seeing things our eyes can't. This bug-eyed darling could identify all sorts of unknown objects for us if we showed it what to look at. How useful could that be? I'm probably better off trying to get, like, X-ray scopes or night ray vision instead of trying to rely on a critter like this. allowing it to live for up to 50 years. Wow. The Crested Rumpup. Oh, wait, Rumpup? Makes it sound like there would be a, bigger version of this later on. Reminds me a little bit of a, Scorpion. Just without the stinger tail. Also, it has hair, for whatever reason, or fur on the bottom of its tail. With a red carapace carved like a jaunty sun hat, and a tail spouting a vivid yellow tuft, the critter is a natural illusion of good fashion. But its face and personality exhibits only true ferocity. It will open its mouth wide and charge at you with an alarming speed. The juxtaposition of artistic interior coupled with an aggression attitude is intriguing. The Polyclam Clamp! On sandy hills or in the sea. Whatever it may be, it never moves from its spot. It will sit and wait for someone to wander past. Someone being prey, preferably, though it would also be someone who knows the value of a beautiful shell or the pearl it holds nested inside. Yes, these guys were back from Pikmin 1. There were 3 of them, 2 of them having pearls, and 1 of them having a ship piece back in Pikmin 1. I'm pretty sure we did the same thing in Olimar's journey for this game, so yeah, good little callback. The Toady Bloitster! Yes, we found you back in Pikmin 2. It was even an adult, bigger version that was found in Pikmin 2 that we didn't see make a comeback in this game, which makes a little bit of sense. How he worked in Pikmin 2 was that he followed your captains, and considering we had 2 captains, not just Steve and me, it makes sense they didn't bring it back. Cute little mole-like eyes, a smooth, undulated body, a big curvy mouth, a tongue that extends and separates into 6 parts, gill like fruit from a plant. Sit a moment and take it all in. Sometimes it's fun to simply appreciate how a creature that can do so much damage can still be such an adorable addition to our universe. The Bloom Cap Bloister, also from the mollusking family. With a peaking carapace and undulging mouth, it goes around cleaning up everything in its path. It's the organic vacuum cleaner of the natural world. If you startle it, it'll open the top like an umbrella, which can be quite a surprise to whoever is watching. Yeah, I don't really get how, what's the best way to actually fight this guy. Also, considering the things actually fold up, that would intend that the pieces of it are not... No, it would imply that the pieces are actually part of it because they move them up, but also bring them down, and what would be the advantage of that? Because it doesn't have a mouth on top, so it's not like it's going to trap the critters inside to eat them. Oh, the Bog Swallow. Yes, this jerk. The fact that, one of them spawned the most unadvantageous spots for me. Whatever. It pops out of the mud, often with no warning to say hello, with a body like a hose and a big round mouth on it. Round mouth. It satiates its appetite by feeding on the mud itself. Its 6 bright eyes means it's sure to see the fondness we have for its 6 times better. I hope it eats up all the unending affection. The Rotter Wraith. A living thing is a living thing, even if it transcends our understanding. This unnerving creature is translucent and has no actual physical body to speak of. Yet somehow it clutches to its rulers with zealous devotion. It's both eerie and fascinating, don't you agree? All I know about this creature stems from a few sightings deep underground. All reported sightings feature the same core set of details, a giant vicious form with a clear hazy sheen, not unlike hard candy. One theory holds that it may be of ectoplasmic incarnation of a kind of psychic phenomenon, but as is usually the case with such theories, it is very difficult to prove. As witness reports being suddenly overcome with fear upon sighting the creature, approaching a state of panic and near insanity. In fact, every report contains an inordinate amount of extremely vague details, which has led me to suspect that exhaustion and fear have caused some simple nature phenomenon to be viewed as a living creature. Inedible, known to cause mass hysteria, followed by leg spasms and internal thundering. The Smoky Frog. Egg tastes best when smoked. The flavor of the bell. the flavor of the belly and the head is pleasantly warming. How do you eat this? The smoky frog's body is constantly deteriorating, so collecting a living sample has proven difficult, and research into the species has progressed at a glacial rate. However, by examining the genes inherent to the smoky frog eggs, it has been confirmed that they are in fact Mamuta eggs. This discovery allowed for the possibility that Mamuta do not develop properly and hatch. That Mamuta that don't develop properly and hatch become smoky frogs. If hypothetically, Mamuta were to remain above ground at night and absorb glow sap, that might impact the nutrient levels within the egg's yolk. That change could lead to the embryo invalidity or break down its enzymes. Then maybe. If the Mamuta will remain above ground at night and absorb the glow sap, affect the nutrient levels within the egg yolk. In the night above ground, or the dark passages below, you'll suddenly notice an egg. If you leave the egg alone, a being of terror is born out of it. A mysterious fiend dragging itself along. But I feel like the misunderstood deer may be trying to communicate with us. Perhaps it's a tale of the sad one. The Ancient Sire Hound. A coat that's dense and rough like a primordial forest. A stench like a wet canine, and a shockingly toasty body temperature. Clearly a dog in every sense. The long history of dogs being companions we rely on triggers an instinctive reaction throughout our entire bodies. If I were left on this planet with this massive cutie, I'd be content. If we harvest stem cells from the gigantic canine creature and cultivate them with glow sap, the generated serum will return Steve's leafy tail to normal. Once administered, the results would indicate that 99.9% of the canine creature's DNA matches Steve's, and that the only difference between Steve and Moss may be the natural presence or absence of a tailed leaf. If these two theories prove to be true, it would suggest the possibility that this ancient creature is a common ancestor of the two canine species from vastly remote star systems, and that perhaps there are even more hidden secrets that could hint at a fascinating yet inconceivable truth the universe has yet to reveal. The ultimate ride, plush and comfortable. I wish I could bring it home with me. And Moss. Convenient for procuring ingredients, compact, with a tight turning radius. As far as I can tell, Moss has been a leafling pup since birth, and some of her DNA resembles that of a Pikmin. This is the one point in which she differs from Steve. While Steve transformed from a shepherd space dog to a leafling pup, I started to theorize that the Pikmin are, in some capacity, propagating their DNA with other organisms. This phenomenon, in which all these castaways, including myself, became leaflings, was very likely caused by being absorbed into the onion. Perhaps that process was also some sort of Pikminification of the body. Pikminified organisms can't leave this planet, so the Pikmin may have been motivated to carry out this process in an effort to secure a permanent leader. Of course, this is just a theory. Steve and Moss are two peas in a pod. It's quite unprecedented that a space dog should meet such a similar creature on a far-off unknown planet. You could even call it miraculous. Could they be siblings separated at birth? No, that wouldn't be possible. Red Pikmin. These peppy little darlings are vivid scarlet red, and you can tell by their appearance these critters are very passionate. In fact, they're such hotheads that they're immune to fire. Even their display of affection are irradiant. They'll beat their tiny fists on you in an abundance of enthusiasm. Pikmin are part of the class, which consists of creatures that exhibit both plant and animal characteristics. A Pikmin will instinctively follow whoever plucks it from the ground. So it's quite common for them to form a symbiotic relationship with other species or adopt a leader of different species, as it serves the goal of propagating their own species for a while. The word Pikmin is the most common Pikmin species. It can be identified by its nose-like protrusions on its head and its highly aggressive behavior. also has a few surprises and unique qualities. For example, its immunity to extreme heat and fire despite the fact that it's a living organism. This can be explained by looking closely at its skin and muscle fibers, which are made up of flame-resistant cellulose. Looks like a Pikmin carrot. I bet it tastes good, but I'm practicing self-restraint! Yellow Pikmin. When I look at it, all I see is its ears. It's genetically believed that the Pikmin body was originally the root of a plant that has evolved over centuries, if not millennia, developing structural analysis analogous to muscles, neural networks similar to those of a brain, and more. However, yellow Pikmin possess a perfect resistance to electricity, a force which actually poses extreme danger to other organisms. Oddly enough, the species of Pikmin actually seem to enjoy electricity. Their flowers even bloom when they are exposed to an electric current. This fact could lead one to believe that their natural transmission methods are quite different from our own. The species often uses the ear-like lamellae on its head to soar to great heights and dig holes. Look at the extraordinary big, pointy ears of the adorable yellow Pikmin. I doubt you can whisper a secret that they won't hear. Try throwing one. They can easily retrieve objects for you from places that you can't reach. Also, electricity doesn't faze them at all. They're shockingly useful little guys. Blue Pikmin. It wouldn't be overstated to say that which of these Pikmin navigate the waters with the grace of a fish is one of the most lovely things to behold on this whole planet. But if you really want to see them swimming, you'll need to offer them some live bait. The accepted theory is that Pikmin evolved from a terrestrial root vegetables, and so would be unable to breathe underwater, and subsequently drown. Yet the blue Pikmin possess a gill resembling a mouth on their head, which enables them to be active underwater, while on land, the leaf and flower of the other Pikmin species. They breathe through the stoma on their skin, indicating they must be naturally amphibious. Pigment proteins on the surface of their body essentially perform the same photosynthetic process as cyanobacteria, for example, which is what gives them their striking color. Look at that mouth, and I want to put my hand in it, just to see what it would happen. Rock Pikmin. I think I broke a tooth on one of these. The species is definitely a member of the Pikmin genus, but its body does not share any of the plant-like traits that Pikmin are known for. Instead, it's composed primarily of stone. The stone is actually the chosen host of a parasitic subset of Pikmin species nicknamed Pikmin. Similar to how a seed can sprout and push through the cracks of a rock, the Pikmin roots stretch deep into the stone, store its vital organs, and interior cavity that resemble a crystal geode. Because the species displays characteristics common in parallelism, one can hypothesize that the rock onion and rock candy pop bud stockpile stones that eventually host the rock Pikmin. Rock Pikmin may be rugged and craggy in appearance, but their well-polished skin is cool and smooth to the touch. These dark, shiny stone bodies are built for defense, and they're capable attackers too. I did not notice their stubby little legs. Aren't they the cutest? Winged Pikmin. These peculiar little flyers look like they're wearing goggles. Don't be put off by their odd appearance, though. Places that seem like dead ends, such as treacherous roads, swamps, lakes, and sheer cliffs, are nothing to them. When they're not carrying anything, with a few flaps of their tiny wings, they'll flit through the air like fierce fairies. The wings on the back of this flying Pikmin species closely resembles the wings that could be found on a flying creature. It's possible that the ancestors' winged onion somehow absorbed a flying creature's DNA, which then resulted in this precursor to the winged Pikmin transformation onto the species we recognize today. If this theory is correct, then onions might also be serving the role of messenger, transmitting new traits and characteristics to their onions. I once had a dream that I was abducted by a winged specimen. Ice Pikmin. A kitchen essential used for freezing ingredients and storing leftovers. Pikmin supposedly evolved from plants, yet they are also Pikmin species with bodies made of ice. known as ice Pikmin. How is this even possible? The answer to the question lies in the fact that ice Pikmin are parasitic by nature, and their ice serves as their host. The composition of the type of ice is predictably mostly water, but it resembles saline solutions with faint concentrations of trace sodium ions, potassium ions, and calcium ions that function as neurotransmitters. Interestingly, the ice exhibits no vital signs of melting or dripping when exposed to sunlight. This is due to its low temperature core, which constantly creates more ice in order to maintain a constant size. With the frigid air welling up endlessly from inside the icy bodies, they can freeze anything at all. If you throw enough of them into a pond, they'll freeze the surface solidly. That you can even walk across it. They're just like little ice wizards. White Pikmin. These tiny white Pikmin can dart about quite swiftly. The bold red eyes are as charming as they are startling. Like a flower that has sharp thorns, these cute little ones possess a potent poison. Such a small critter needs to be tough to survive. White Pikmin are born through a color-changing process within white candy pop buds, which only grow underground. The poison within their body is a type of symmetroid toxin often found in a certain plant root. If ingested, it can lead to vomiting, respiratory distress, and complete organ failure, ultimately resulting in death due to cardiac arrest. Though strong, this poison also has medical uses, sometimes going by the name actinolite? Pikmin are amphibolized and evolved from plants, but it seems that the species retain more of their plant-based evolutionary heritage than others. Not meant to be ingested, best used as bait. Purple Pikmin, too heavy, tenderized the meat would be way too difficult. Slightly larger in size, purple Pikmin can weigh up to 10 times as much as other Pikmin species, and when thrown onto the ground, their impact creates gravitational waves that can actually warp space-time. It's astonishing. The density of their muscle fibers is also much lighter than that of other Pikmin, allowing them to transport 10 times as much weight as their average-sized counterparts. Their rich purple color is derived from strong polyphenol antioxidants. Like white Pikmin, they are born from underground candy pop buds, and no related onions have been discovered so far. But I think somewhere underground, deep among the relics of the past, a purple onion is waiting to be discovered. It's profoundly heavy feeling holding a living thing in your arms. It can be overwhelming to realize this thing is really alive. That said, these little ones have a density to them that makes them extremely heavy. To hold at all is difficult, but don't worry, they're strong enough so that they can hold you. The onion, the majesty of nature, the mysteries of life. I feel that these stale cliches can't fully express the extraordinary symbiotic relationship between Pikmin and onions. Is there a connection here of an affectionate nature, perhaps? There's so much we still don't know. Sometimes it lays dormant, much like a bulb, but dig it out from the ground and provide it with the right stimuli, for example, a good hard shake, and it'll activate sprouting 3 rot-like legs. It serves a role similar to a nest of an incubator for the Pikmin, absorbing pellets and bodies of dead creatures for the nutritional value and then propagating Pikmin of the same color as itself. Onions seem to greedily attempt to replicate certain characteristics of the matter that they absorb by combining it with or absorbing other onions, sometimes of the same type. It's been confirmed that, like Pikmin, an onion has muscle fibers in its body, and though it is unable to walk, it is capable of small range of motion. However, when one breaks down the biological matter it has absorbed as a fuel similar to bioethanol... What? Oh, I moved over. Bioethanol is created. Onions spray this fuel out of its mouth of their underbellies and are able to fly using the flower-like propeller for stabilization. If you look closely, you'll see the legs are sprouting a dense layer of hair. Flaric. Saute in oil and add a fragrant spice to your dish, but eat too much and you'll smell like it for days. While it doesn't sprout or create Pikmin, this specimen is still a type of onion. A bulb like this one can be divided into several segments. It's highly nutrient dense and contains a strong, energizing, and analytic effect. The compound resemble for its characteristic smell and resembles onion growth hormones. When absorbed by an onion, it fulfills a critical role in Pikmin qualification by increasing the total number of Pikmin that can be withdrawn from the onion at any given time. Just like onions, it contains muscle fibers, but Flaric has no animalistic qualities to speak of. However, if you place it near an onion, it may start to move a bit, as though it's trying to roll over so it can be absorbed. Dice, finally! Grat satay and oil. I can barely stand the grumbling in my tummy right now, but when you see one of these shiver or twitch, you realize that it's a living thing, and we must treat it with consideration as such. Candy Pop Buds. The longer you look at it, the more I feel a strange urge to throw something into it. Succumbing to the intrusive thought, I once threw a bomb into one when I did. Patooey, it spat the bomb right back out. I can't help seeing some sort of life response in that. What looks like an interior of a flower is actually an insectual leaf that developed into an organ. The organ releases a sweet scent from its central pistil, luring small insects into its interior and trapping them. The DNA of these captured organisms is directly absorbed by the plant cells, which might indicate that this specimen is attempting to evolve at an astonishing speed. But in most cases, the cells essentially self-destruct. The bulb then releases Pikmin seeds of the same color, and then the plant withers. Muscle fibers extremely similar to those of an onion were also found in the species, so one could hypothesize that a candy pop bud is an underdeveloped onion. Oh, an undeveloped onion. However, there aren't any details to confirm this theory either way. Way too spicy for a salad, no matter what color bud you use. Pillar Posies! On a quest for the perfect odivore, slow cook this plant on a wood fire oven, but be careful to only serve the tender pellet. On the stem of a pellet posy, one can observe the muscular fiber unique to the half-plant, half-animal species, such as the Pikmin and candy pop bud flower. So the pellet posy is a specimen that can be considered a close relative. Although the ability to crystallize nectar is unique to a small group of pellet posy weed family, the fact that these plants reach maturity so quickly and that the pellets contain such a high concentration of natural nutrients in the soil explains why the Pikmin and so many of the other natural species are so reliant on these pellets for sustenance. The pellets cradled and the petals change colors like some form of chameleon, aligning to match the color of nearby Pikmin. It's almost as though it's inviting us to come harvest it to make more. Even though it appears to be helping out, it really just makes us to spread its seeds. It's just using us to spread its seeds. Okay, we're almost done. The Birdring Spiderwort. The fruit-like pellet is juicy and pulpy. What's more, that not just any juice inside of it, there's a super spicy spice in there. Eating the spicy things can be a fun way to jumpstart our taste buds. Perhaps the Pikmin in this world like to spice things up as well. I think we're done waiting Olimar and Louis for right now. Don't got much left anyways. Glow Pikmin! Don't smell alive! Yes. Interesting how these guys are kind of like the bulb men from Pikmin 2. The fact that you can't actually take them with you, they don't have an onion, they can't go into the onion. And one way they could be seen as only their main function of being to make more Pikmin, or being a last resort, or just being a general, like, great Pikmin to have for almost any situation. Here you are, far from home, stranded on a strange planet with a night even more dangerous than the unforgiving day. But in that night, the faint, gentle light given off by these gloriously glowing little beams brings hope to our adventures, that shines the beacon of life that we recognize in our hearts. And last off, I believe, is the Luminol. Yes. Nature is a high-risk, high-reward type of environment. The Luminol braves the dangers, risking self-destruction to emit a light that lures creatures so it can propagate more glow Pikmin, using glow pellets, but is that all? Could the glow sap be luring us? I don't know. Well, see if these guys ever come back in a Pikmin 5. I would doubt it, but then again, I didn't think we'd get Rock, Flying, Purple, and White Pikmin back, so who knows? Smells like an onion. The green juice is particularly delicious. And yeah, that will be it for the Picklopedia, I guess. So this is the end of Bonus 1, and when we come back next time with Bonus 2, we will be going over the items. So, I will see you then. I can't believe it was an hour and a half long.